it's only going to be picking up audio through the actual camera.
Through the actual camera today.
Hey, Bart.
Hi, Dan. How are you?
I'm all right. Check, check, check.
You'll be fine.
Check, check, check. Check, check, check.
Thank you.
I was just like,
Hi, Steve. How are you?
I'm good. I talked to him a while ago.
Yeah.
He said they were doing it.
Yep.
He's not happy with the way kind of things.
So the trick on it, Dick,
I didn't know. Yeah.
the trick on it is this part
I don't understand.
kind of go in there, and this should hug your face,
We have to completely reset.
like that.
Isn't that like crazy? It's not.
I don't disagree with that. I guess that's something that shouldn't.
And I've started to record it, so I don't have to keep running back and forth.
Right.
I did.
I was just giving this and saying, put this out.
I know, yeah. I guess we, anyway, yeah. That's our, and on the bridge.
Right, it's too late now.
Yeah.
Really?
But, yeah, still be up on Monday.
He said, go around that, go ahead and get rid of it. They
Yeah.
can, and then have it.
Well, and you know, there's a lot of noise going on right now, so.
We didn't see when they went out.
Come up with good, they kind of indicated that.
I had mine all lined up to go there this morning.
Materials Wednesday.
But you would have to do that.
Yeah, so they're ready to get started.
Great, awesome.
Good.
I know you're excited to see it.
See, I know what you're saying, but I still,
So yeah, that one went backwards.
is this what seems like it's,
And she's cursing.
Yeah, it's away from your. Oh, it's because it's on your lefty.
well, but that doesn't work for me.
It's supposed to be on the left here?
Yes, sir.
We'll need at least one more council member.
Carol, does this happen?
You have a funny left ear?
As far as I know, it does. Ask Sherry.
Yeah, that looks right. Now, let's see, why is his, let me see, I have no idea if it's really, oh, no, it's good. Oh.
Hey, Sherry? Ma'am, apparently I don't know.
Actually was surprised, once you get along, pretty quickly forget it.
Just forget it.
Oh, yeah.
Test 1, 2. Gosh, mine's loud. That was a whisper.
Just talk for a minute, you'll get used to it.
You just don't.
I bet I don't get used to it.
You do have this option.
Yes.
You can turn yours down a little bit too. if you'd like
Yeah,
to.
the buff's not in.
Yes, just turn that back. Now talk.
It doesn't.
1, 2, 3. Yeah, I like that better.
Yes.
Oh, okay, the truth right there. Okay, cool.
Hey, Bob.
This is
That's yours.
Oh, wow, all right.
And we haven't tested Dick's yet.
Oh, there you go. Sorry, Mr. Carl. Check, check, check.
Yeah, yeah. Then you take it back in there, put it back in.
That's speech. You're good.
I see what you're doing.
How do I do that?
I'm doing good.
Yeah, Amy.
Yes.
Oh, really? Oh, why? Got there?
Check, 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 check.
Yours is.
I didn't hear him.
Who's there? Oh, that's it.
No, Amy's gonna be sitting right there. That would be,
Just let me know.
No one's gonna
If
sit
you'll
there.
sort of spearhead that.
well, I guess it has to be.
I'm there.
I'm gonna grab you.
Right after that meeting.
On Saturday? Okay, I should be able to be there on Saturday.
All right.
Okay, yeah.
Nope, number 8 was turned down.
Hey, this is the last weekend of the show.
Yes, it is. We've only been rained out once.
Oh, did you get rained out?
Yeah, the first opening night we got rained out.
Okay.
But we've had sellouts every night since.
That's great. That's
It's
great.
so good.
It was a
the
good
narrator's
show.
the best.
It was a good show.
Yeah, but they're-
Yeah, the narrator's the best.
I
You have more of a role than you usually have.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you've got the whole opening part.
I actually have lines,
Yeah.
but I get to read them. I don't have to.
That's
I don't
nice.
have to memorize.
You don't have to memorize.
Which was the condition for my employment. I tell you the truth.
Well, it actually, I didn't realize it actually worked. It was like you were reading off of, these are the things you're supposed to say.
Yeah.
It
No,
was.
no,
He did read
that
it.
part of it's that little. It's when the story begins, once upon a time.
Oh, so you do have that written there?
Yeah.
Oh.
Oh, yes, I could.
He's playing golf on fancy golf courses.
Wow. Must be nice.
Can we check yours, Amy?
All right, are you ready then? Or not quite?
Mind donning it.
Oh, you need me to put it on? You know I'm not gonna use it unless I talk.
Yeah, he did this morning.
I don't either. I keep mine turned down on mute.
I can do it.
So it turns out it has to go in your left ear.
Left ear. This is left, right?
Yeah.
I'm backwards on this sometimes. There you go. So speak.
Hello. And so much for now with the staging materials on that Thursday, so that it's they got all their stuff on.
Okay, I've got 3 minutes past 12:30. So if everybody's ready, we'll begin. All right, call the meeting to order. Sigma Mountain Town Council work session, Friday, July 27th at 12:30, actually 12:33. Let's stand for the pledge, remain standing for a moment of silence, and we'll get the meeting started. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, thank you. Will you be seated? And a call of the roll. Carol.
Vice Mayor Dick G.
Here.
Councilmember Dan Landrum.
Here.
Councilmember Robert Spalding.
Here.
Councilmember Amy Speak. Here. Mayor Chris Howley is absent.
Yes, it was out frolicking in Scotland, playing golf on all those famous golf courses that we've heard of for so many years. So let's think kind of as we go through this suffering as it is. Okay, the first item, I tell you, I guess we ought to vote. We're going to pull the item.
Yes, 6A, the Liason contract extension, we pull that for further work based on some information we just got. Strike that.
Okay.
Council Wood, please.
So then let's begin with the discussion of the 2018-19, which would be the current budget, assuming it would be approved. So I'm going to let you guys do that.
We sent you guys the updated information. Went ahead and put this on as discussion item ahead of the ordinance, so that if we need to make any changes or anything, we make sure we have that in order before we do a reading. It would be extremely beneficial if we could get the first reading in at this meeting, and we could do a public hearing and the second reading at the August meeting, regular meeting. Just in basic terms, as we discussed before, one of the advantages to this process being somewhat lengthened is that we have pretty close to solid end of the year numbers, which we generally start the budget process with nothing close to that. So we do anticipate a significantly higher fund balance to close out the year, so that made a significant change in the standing in general. So we plugged those numbers in. We've gone back and looked at projects that did not get done this past year and moved some of those forward, which doesn't have an impact really because it's money that wasn't spent this year but will next. So that's an additional increase in ending fund balance. So it offsets. One of the things that we did do was increase funding for the HVAC and the gym, because that came in a good bit higher than anticipated. We moved the tennis court repairs to next year again. We bid that out, even though we extended the
You did get someone for the gym though? You got a bidder on that?
We got one bidder on that, but it was higher than anticipated, so.
Dan, is your mic on?
Yes.
Okay.
I was being quiet.
So we've made those adjustments. There were a few tweaks relative to the COLA adjustment, just some formula errors or calculations. So those have been corrected. And we did pull the 3% additional projected revenue growth on the property tax out. So we're at where we originally started the projected growth on the property tax. So when we do all that, we are anticipating an ending unassigned percentage of fund balance to expenditure of 38%, which keeps us in line with our policy.
Not so much from increased revenue, but
The increased revenue projections were taken out. So that's more in line with what we originally anticipated, in the ending fund balance changing to be significantly higher, more than offset that. So we're in pretty good shape there. So those were the changes that were made to this point.
But, so, let me make sure I got it, I think I have it, but it fixes this one, because we ended up with more money in the fund balance than we thought. We had excess revenue in the fund balance. Either, probably if we're not spending.
It was as it almost always is, a combination.
So what we have done, we'll have to address that next year. Because those expenditures are gonna be pushed forward, not covered by revenue, correct? I mean,
Well, so the vast majority, if you look at, if I haven't gotten mine in order, we're looking at a fund balance reduction of $1.8 million. A lot of that is large projects. All of our capital outlay projects are right at $1.8 million. And the major capital outlay projects of 1.4. A lot of that's where you have a lot of facilities projects and the ball fields and MACC and all of that. So operationally, I think we're pretty good. The question is, are we going to be able to continue to fund capital improvements at this
at
level?
that level.
And that's pretty much a position that I've had all along. Is these are fine projects for capital or for fund balance, but that's not something you can do long term. And we're approaching the point where we have to make that decision.
My point is we corrected a short-term problem, but long-term, assuming that capital funding remains at the current level, next year you'll have to deal with it all over again.
But again, this was an estimate, and Mayor Howard is correct, that this is on target with what it is.
Well, he was 50% correct.
Yeah, but again, I think that it balanced out pretty much what you predicted, that there was some discrepancies in some of the aspects of the funding, and that did allow it for it to work out, because there's not a whole lot of recreations here.
But the money that wasn't spent will get spent next year.
That's correct. That's another topic.
Yes, so.
That's another topic.
And my point is, it just makes the discussion next year resemble the discussion we just had, is to make the numbers add up.
Right, well, we've got more accurate information now than we did before.
But my guess is that revenue is going to be a challenge next year. We'll see.
And we may be looking at tax increases next year.
Yeah, that's my thinking, we'll see. But, any questions? Ma'am, you were the one that sort of raised this. You want to make a comment, or are you okay?
Did you guys recalculate the way, you were looking at maybe a more accurate way of calculating the unassigned fund balance percentage?
He's talking about sanitation.
There was one thing we discovered, and it's something that's been done for as long as we know.
Right.
But when we really dug down into it, the expenditures for sanitation really were accounted for twice. Because you have a transfer from fund balance, general fund balance, to the sanitation fund. That's how we fund sanitation. There's a separate fund, but all the money pretty much comes from general fund. So that shows as a transfer from general fund, which is an expenditure from general fund. But then when that money is expended, the way the spreadsheets work and everything, it was really getting picked up the second time. So we looked at it several times, several ways, and are comfortable that that's what's happening.
Right.
And so we backed that out to be more accurate as well.
What was that amount approximately?
It is $596,657, so it was considerable.
So, yeah, so understand that this, where you're seeing this 38%, there's a big chunk of that that has to do with $500,000 not being hit twice.
Right.
So that's a big part of why we're okay.
Well, like I said, we're okay now, short term. But next year, the crunch will continue to build if we continue at the rate of.
Right. Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Capital funding.
No, that's as you guys said, that's a separate issue. I just wanted to make sure that everybody understands that we got to 38%, not because of moving everything forward, but partially because of a calculation difference.
But they're real dollars.
But they're real dollars. Yeah, yeah. But that's fixed forever, though.
Right.
So it's a good thing.
Make a motion, we approve.
Okay, do I hear a second?
We're not to the ordinance yet.
Oh, that's right.
Unless you just
This
want to
is
jump over
discussion.
there, I just put it in so if there were any major issues, you can try to address it.
So that's gonna be.
Carol got really excited.
No, it's on this agenda.
If you're ready, we can handle it right now. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's just do
Okay, so, we're going to go ahead and do the approval process first. And I have a motion, and
Wait. You have to read the caption on the ordinance.
Wait, I'm not, don't we need to talk about some expenses still? Can we, I'd like to bring up the,
that's what I was trying to review, so you didn't see it. I thought we were through discussing.
well, I said one thing I wanted to say. There's a second one. I don't think that within this budget, we should have the MEF donation because they haven't even requested it from us. And we couldn't give it to them anyway until they come. And I'm not saying it wouldn't be fine if, there was a specific need, if MEF came before us to hear it. But the process for doing that doesn't even allow us to give them money. Am I accurate in that, Boyd?
I don't know that that's,
Okay.
until there is a process that would have to play out before the donation could be made. And that may be what you're saying, I just
Poorly,
taking
yes.
it another way, but
Yeah.
yeah, if we were to make a donation, there would have to be a request, then an agreement drafted and executed, and then, so that agreement would be, come before council for approval, and if it's above 10,000 or 10,000 or above, then you would have to actually approve the distribution. But as long as that process plays out, then I think you could make that donation.
Has there been a request?
Not to my knowledge.
Are
No,
you anticipating a request?
I would anticipate one, and I don't agree with your suggestion of taking it out.
I think it's been budgeted, so leave it there until otherwise.
I don't see the fact that it's in the budget doesn't necessarily mean it has to be spent.
Right.
It's going to
Same.
say.
And it could come with action.
Council action one way or the other, either to deal with a request or approve the expenditure. So I'm okay with it being there.
So we're ready for vote?
I think it's bad accounting. I'm all for helping MEF.
Any reason why it can't be there from an accounting standpoint in the budget?
Why did you say it doesn't seem like I'm for MEF? No, she,
Nothing's
Is
in
it-
there.
Wait, please. Is there any reason it can't be a line item in the budget?
No.
sure, and I agree, it can be a line item in the budget, but you said those words out loud to me, and I don't want to be defensive, but I want you to understand what I want to do in my role as a council person is follow good accounting procedures, good accounting practices. And as we get close to this 38%, which is what the council decided once upon a time, we don't want to go below that. The closer we get to it, the more we should be careful about what we're committing to. And committing to things that haven't been requested, to me, I'm not talking about anybody else, to me seems irresponsible, regardless of even if it hurts to say it a little bit, because I'm all for MEF. I just don't think from an accounting standpoint, we should be doing this, but clearly I'm in the minority, so I'll stop now. But
And with all due respect to preaching, so hang on. We've got an agreement that it's good accounting practice. And so, or it's not bad accounting practice. And it seems like we have an agreement to go, so.
I agree, and I would say that it's more like good accounting to put it in there and not need it and not put it in there.
Okay. So, are we ready to vote? Okay, I think, is the motion that I heard?
No, you have to read the caption.
After,
Did you find it?
I don't mind if you'd like to use it, but I can get back to this.
This is an ordinance of the town of Signal Mountain, Tennessee, adopting the annual budget and tax rate for the fiscal year beginning July 1, 2018, and ending June 30, 2019, hereinafter known as the fiscal year 2018-2019 budget ordinance. I don't have a number. Do you want to assign a number?
No, it's first read. We'll do
That's first
it,
read.
yeah, we'll do it in second read.
All right. So now I guess we begin again, since we'll do our motion. Bob, do you want to?
I'll make the motion.
For a second.
I'll second.
Any discussion, further discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed?
opposed.
Passes 3-1. So we can handle that. So 7A is complete, and we have approved the first reading of the current year budget. Okay. Second item on the under discussion is the rezoning process. Those who want to talk about that a little bit.
You guys were sent a draft ordinance for amending the process by which the rezonings are requested and processed. This has gone to Planning Commission. They approved an initial version, and then town attorney added quite a bit to it relative to the council's process. Just touching on some of the main points is one of the things that it requires is that the applications will have to come to the Planning Commission 60 days ahead of a meeting now, which will help with staff being able to process things, evaluate, and get posting done and all of that. One of the things probably most the council's going to want to consider is 1802-08, which deals with the public hearing for process and how they're handled, and limits the time for not only the applicant to make a presentation, but opposition as well. This is something that's fairly common. I think these are the exact time allotted by Chattanooga, but that is one of the sections that I would call to your attention and ask you to give some consideration to. And again, that's why I wanted this on the meeting today as a discussion item, to kind of get it in front of you and give you the opportunity to review it, consider it, and we will have it on the regular meeting agenda.
Can you remind me how this differs from what our current one is?
You know what, I had a highlighted version that I should have,
You can, yeah,
Dan,
I'll pull it
yeah,
up.
thank you. One of the things that it does is also reduces the time period between applications. Now, if an application is denied, they have to wait 12 months, and this reduces that to 9. The planning commission felt that, given the other requirements of the process, that was a reasonable kind of a trade-off scenario.
They could resubmit 9 months rather than 12, is that right?
Correct. But there's more time involved in the process itself. There's a lot more detail in terms of how signage has to be placed, the timing of that, and also, there's really, other than the few things that I've mentioned, the gist of it is it's just more detailed and structured in terms of what the process is and how we do things.
Yeah, this is not annotated. One thing to add, those timings sound a little harsh, you know, just as presented straight, but we softened the wording in there a bit so that it's a may, so that the chair who's conducting the meeting can give people more time. Did we not do that? That was one of the planning commission recommendations.
In the portion in 802.105.05, it says that when it's talking about the planning commission, it does say these rules, time restrictions shall be enforced at the discretion of the planning commission chairperson.
Right. That was added.
But then it says
Yes,
it shall
I
strictly.
don't
chair
think
one
it has
person.
that same wording
For the council.
for the council.
So if the council wants to think about that, the reason we added that for the planning commission is because sometimes you actually do need to hear from a particular person who's got a vested interest in something, and the chair can let that person continue to talk and have a dialogue. But you also have times where you have a room full of people, and you just can't get everything in if you don't do it that way. And the reason it was important, we decided it was important for the discretion line to be in there, is if you get into a situation where you've got one group saying you're giving the other group more time, you can do that. But if we don't put that wording in for the council portion of it, isn't that potentially still a problem?
Well, I can see it be just the opposite as well. If you have a strict timeline for the process, and that limits that in a public hearing, you don't know in advance who's gonna say what. So if you go for a period of time and it so happens that there are more people in favor of something than against it, you have no way of knowing that in advance, and I don't know how you equal that out.
I don't think, the concern that I had, as I understood from the planning commission, wasn't 5 people versus 20 people. It was an individual who has principal information that you might need to have involved a lot more than another person. If this restricts that person from getting more time than someone who just might not want anybody else to live here.
Well, you know, I think the chair always has a discretion when it is the council or planning commission desire or need to get information from a particular source, that they have the ability to do that.
Okay. So you think even without saying at the discretion?
Yeah, I mean, I think under that circumstance, you always have that discretion.
Okay.
If it's just the general process and absent a specific person that you need to get information from, then I think it's important that you have it more structured and you would need that discretion.
Okay.
You do give us a question or a comment. Where is the intent for a request like this, or a request covered by this ordinance? Where is the intent that it be hashed out in the community? In the planning commission meeting or in the town council meeting?
Generally, it's considered that the planning commission process is more technical and deals with zoning regulations, requirements. Does it fit? Does it meet the requirements of zoning? Is the zoning that's being requested appropriate? And those things. And I think at the council level, the community input is more weighty.
So it seems to me like this is backwards. It seems like to me that, and I think it's correct, I think the planning commission really is more of a technical, and I'm not even sure if there's a provision, and historically I don't think there was before we got there, where there was a provision for community members to speak in opposition. That was just to look at what was being proposed, what did it comply with, or what it didn't comply with, and whatever the rules and regulations were, where all those things were in order. And Cheryl has kind of modified the at least it seems to me, and I may be wrong on that, because I'm not a real veteran of that committee, but it seems like that meeting was opened up to comments from the public, of not disinterested people, but not people that are directly related to the issue as it's being presented, just to make public comment. I don't think that's the right forum for public comment, frankly. I think the right forum for public comment is a public meeting. And although the planning commission is public, but nonetheless, they have lots of details to deal with. Commission is the one that deals with the issue. And it seems like to me that to limit what we're doing here is, and I know I'm speaking as a short timer, and I apologize, but by being so restrictive on the council, you really are going to run into a buzzsaw, I think, of feedback, negative feedback, in trying to restrict debate. And because I think that's where it actually should occur, rather than in a planning commission meeting. So I guess I would say this needs to be kind of reviewed some more. And I think you were saying that too, actually.
If there are not issues that are brought, then we can move forward on it. If they are, that's why I wanted to have this discussion in this format before we actually brought it for a vote or anything.
All right, I'm interested in you sit on the planning commission, it just seems like to me the planning commission really should limit itself to I don't know, not just technical issues, but not the public issues of whether we like it or not, or whatever. The planning commission just has, it needs to be able to get down in the weeds and spend time.
Sure.
And so.
I think some of what we've seen this past year and a half has to do with the fact that we've been working on the land use plan, which does need more input because it's an overriding thing. We've had charrettes, and the last discussion was about charrettes, and that's all about public communication. I've seen Cheryl kind of do both.
I'm not saying I want to discourage it, but it seems like the proper forum to encourage public debate is town council.
There is the thing, though, that planning commission, when it's sending a recommendation to council, we're writing what we're suggesting council approve or not. And sometimes you need public input in order to.
All we're saying is the proposal meets the requirements that are set forth in the ordinances.
No.
That's what the planning commission.
In the state of Tennessee, you can add additional requirements. And if, no? In this county, excuse me, in our county, you can add additional requirements, and they could get added at the town council stage, but they do get added also at the planning commission stage. I'm not arguing for it or against it. I'm just saying that I think that's one of the reasons also some of the discussion is taking place, because it's been about how can we ameliorate problems to nearby residents, and that's one of the things the planning commission does.
I guess I would say I'm not arguing with the discretion on the part of the planning commission.
Oh, I know, yeah.
But it does seem like to me this is awfully restricted at the council level. To put that much time on it without a back door or open door to.
Right, you and I are saying the same thing. It just seems like it ought to have the discretion, at the discretion of the chair on both of them.
With the addition of similar language in the council proceeding.
Yeah, the rest of these looks pretty hard. Yeah, I think this will be, and I particularly like the transfer of information right. That's a very, very important step. So what do you want to do, council?
What section was that you were questioning about?
The section that allows for discretion is in 1802.05.05. In C, towards the end, it gives the time frame. They'll spend 30 minutes, and each individual gets 3 minutes. But then it says these rules and time restrictions shall be enforced at the discretion of the planning commission chairperson. The suggestion is that we take like language to section 802.08, which is on the last page, when it talks about the town council's public hearing process.
Really what we're saying in C there is that discussion will be held in good order, Robert's rules. And you know, if we stated it that way, it wouldn't sound so negative. I mean, the discussion with the council members shall not be interrupted by, that's kind of harsh.
Yeah, it was strong, I remember.
So, if we just said that discussion between council members and applicants and opponents during council meeting will be held according to, in good order. And Robert's rules as the reference. And that gives council the right to keep it orderly and moving along rather than get turned into a ball.
So you're proposing that we add C to 08 as well?
Well, this is the part that I guess I'm a little nervous about.
Right.
Yeah. C from 05, the very last sentence of it,
Right.
add to 08, C. Is that the way you're understanding it?
Yeah.
We may have to structure it a little differently, but we will basically insert discretion for the mayor or chair, who that may be, and then soften the wording on the existing C in that section.
I don't think we can suggest that we're going to limit debate on an issue brought to council. I mean, that's what I'm trying to avoid. It just, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it so that it's orderly and proper. That's what
We'll make those changes and then have it on the agenda for action at the regular meeting.
This is good, though, I think this is good. resolutions, and the only resolution I've got. Very nice to see it, by the way. I know it's been a hard work getting there. But we are finally resolving to award a contract to Adams Contracting LLC. Resolution authorizing the town manager of the town of Signal Mountain, Tennessee, to award a contract to Adams Contracting LLC in the amount of $915,145 as the lowest and best bid for the bridge replacement on Shoal Falls Lane and other associated required construction as detailed in the project specifications and engineered plans for TDOT project number 33SAB1-S3-002. It's been a long time coming, but thank goodness we're there now. This is in the budget we just approved, I said,
Yes. And this project, as all have been recently, and not that you find great comfort in other folks' misery, but in recent meetings with other town managers, I find that everybody's learning the same thing. Construction costs is just going through the roof. The good thing is this grant is a 98% grant, and it's kind of a pool of funds. And we have checked and, I guess, for lack of a better term, applied, and it's been determined that there are the additional funds available in that grant pool. So it's still going to be funded the full amount at 98%. So this is a huge benefit. And I did call and talk to council members about this to have it on the day's schedule, because once this is approved, it then has to go to back to the state for the contract drafting and all of that, which can take weeks. So an additional 2 weeks really could make a big difference in terms of timing, weather, and all of that. So I appreciate your willingness to address this at this meeting. But they are ready to go when we can get it.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Here a second.
I'll second.
Amy, or
That
either
doesn't
one?
matter.
Amy did.
Okay. Any further discussion?
How long is this thing going on?
Oh, about a year, a little over a year.
Okay.
Has it been done?
Thank you.
All right, any further discussion?
Yeah, just, and this is just for the public benefit, and for, when Boyd was calling all of us, the concern was that we are going to be, doing first reading on it. And we don't want to do this normally, but time was of the essence, and
It
so.
is in this case,
Yeah.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so just, that's what the whole phone conversation was about, so.
All right, here no further discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? 4-0 approved. Thank you all. All right, Robert, I think you're up. 7B, this is rezoning 1161 Ridgeway from low density residential to moderate density. Is that right? Moderate, is that right? Residential. First reader.
This is something that has been to council. Originally came out of the planning commission with requirements that the structure be hooked up to sewer. The belief was that the sewer was just across the highway. It was later determined that instead of being about 50 feet away, it's about 550 feet away. WMTA did provide documentation that sewer hookup is not available. So went back to planning commission. The applicant has had soil testing done, and it has been determined that the property will support a septic system. One of the issues that created though was can be in front of the structure, and any others would have to be to the side of the rear. So now this comes back from planning commission with a recommendation for approval, with the conditions that they will only have one access point on Ridgeway Avenue. No more than 4 parking spaces will be allowed, and a maximum of 2 parking spaces shall be allowed in the front of the primary structure. All of the parking must be located at the side or rear, and that there will be a 100-foot setback from the rear property line of the development. All of the setbacks shall comply with the normal zoning and building requirements.
And then there's just a little technicality, moderate to low, in between, but the low density residential is the post office.
Correct. The low density residential is to the south of this property, but to the north of the property is medium.
Medium, that's what I knew, so moderate, medium.
This is all medium density, and this is the property in question. So it's consistent with
What's already there?
zoning practices that you don't,
But that's the approach,
that's the process.
and that's zone is listed
It is low density residential. So is this. This is zone low density. Government facilities are allowed in low density residential.
The only reason I bring that up is it's been a topic of discussion in the cases that we've talked about. So we're consistent with the progression or whatever the word is.
One other thing I would point out, because it has been a matter of discussion in this case, the request is, or the desire is to put one duplex there. They would like to put a 3-bedroom and a 2-bedroom. The size of the property will only support a total of 4 bedrooms. So this rezoning does not allow them to do a 3-bedroom, 2-bedroom. So they would have to comply with current zoning, which would restrict them to 4 total bedrooms, or go to the BZA for a variance. It is just a little under the lot size required for 5 bedrooms, but it is under, and it's my understanding that they're going to go to the BZA. So passing this does not approve a 5-bedroom structure. There's another process separate and apart that they will pursue for that.
Mark, anything you need to, do you have any comments, anything you need to add?
You specify,
You need to come to the mic.
And give your name and address for the record, please, sir.
Robert Fisher, 902 Shady Circle.
Thank you, sir.
You specified only 4 parking spaces.
That's the wording that's in the ordinance.
The discussions we had, I thought, was parking in front and parking on the side,
Right.
and I never heard a specified number. I think that's new.
I don't recall this.
I don't recall it exactly either. I could go in.
So how many would that add to it?
Pardon?
How many total would that give you if you had what you wanted?
Well, I'm asking for no specified number. Just parking in front, parking on the side.
You can see the practical problem with that. What if you, and I know you're not asking for this, but what if you wanted 10 spaces on the side?
Well,
You see where the problem would be
Yeah.
for,
The practical side for me is if you have 5 cars there, you know, that doesn't seem like an issue, but technically it could be. You know, if someone's got a mom and a dad and a a 16-year-old driver, they're gonna may have 3 cars and 2 in the other, and then we've got a problem.
right, what we were looking at the planning commission is, the picture you showed us.
Yeah. This picture.
And that's with no parking in the rear.
No parking in
Right.
the rear.
And the reason is that what field lines are set, so there's nothing else. But it says here, all parking must be located to the side or the rear of the primary structure.
All other parking.
All other parking. Does rear need to go under there? You know,
It's possible that they could have some areas back there, I don't know, this is the wording that came from Jennifer, so I think that leaves the option, if there's space that's not taken up by the septic field, then the option to have parking to the rear of the structure would be there, but where the septic field is gonna dictate that.
Right, so there'll be no parking in the rear.
If,
It's your backyard. I think
Well, that's what I'm
it's your
thinking.
backyard, you
the
know.
intent was not to restrict parking in the rear. Parking in the rear is actually what was preferred from the town's
Right.
perspective. Your issue is that's where the field lines are gonna be.
Right.
If there are areas to the rear where there are no field lines,
I see.
we'd be more than happy for you to
All
put
right.
parking back there.
But even though if you specify the number of parking spaces, even if it's in the rear, that's problematic.
Right, and I'm not, kind of two different issues there. That, I think there's a valid point if you're looking at even two bedrooms versus, and especially a 5 and 2, that 4 parking spaces does seem to be a bit restrictive.
Is that a duplex that you're showing?
Yes.
Robert, how are the parking places gonna be defined? Are they gonna have curbs? I mean, say if there was a 5th car that didn't have a designated parking spot, what are they gonna do, just pull off and park on the grass?
Well,
And I guess that's what I'd like to avoid, frankly.
I think this will be paid.
You'll pass around that picture that kind of indicates. you
I know,
two in
but
front.
Yeah, they
the
can
fact,
change.
the fact that asphalt or some driveway material is there doesn't necessarily mean a car won't pull off and park on the yard.
Was it intended that this be a per unit restriction as opposed to the total? Now that I think about it,
Yeah.
I'm not sure.
Well, that's the way the conversation went. I don't think you brought this up specifically then either, and so we probably didn't talk about this specifically. We just talked about, could they be in front and on the side, as opposed to all in the front? That's where the conversation went. I don't think we got that granular on this. Is there a way for him to go forward and deal with this with the BZA?
I don't think that's a zoning.
It's not. So what I'm trying to avoid here for you is, we say, well, we can't vote on this until we go back and listen to the tape, and I don't think that's what you want us to do either.
Right.
Well,
So
the,
how about 6 parking, 6 parks, 6 cars?
I don't think we've ever had that kind of discussion in the planning
can I
commission.
have, what came out of the planning commission was a recommendation. So this draft ordinance came from that, and again, I can't speak directly to that one stipulation. But the council does have the ability to amend this ahead of the first reading.
With that in mind, let me ask you a question to clarify. Your issue is not the fact that there are specified maximum of 2 parking spaces in front of, that's not the question. What you wanted is the first sentence you're concerned with, no more than 4 parking spaces shall be allowed, correct?
Yeah, that's what I've got issue with.
But the other, the maximum of 2 parking spaces in front is
Yeah, I
not,
think that's fine.
that's fine, you're okay with that.
Yeah, I think that's fine.
So,
When a house gets built, do we specify the number of parking spaces?
good question, because I had the same one.
We do commercial structures and such as that, but I don't know anything,
Is this commercial?
residential.
So why are we specifying the number of parking spaces? I mean, I know I beat you up with trees. One reason would be so that there's as many trees as possible. I mean, that's our goal, is to keep the tree
Yeah.
canopy and not have a bunch, just a bunch of extra asphalt.
And, it costs us money to cut trees, so our intent is not to cut trees we don't need to.
So can we just change the wording in that so it says with parking for one unit in front and one unit to the
It
side?
looks like we have exceptions to every sentence in two, because if we go, the statement says all other parking must be located to the side or the rear.
I think that too.
I mean, that doesn't,
Again, the issue with parking in the rear is that's where the septic field is gonna be. If there's available space to the rear for parking, we have no objection to parking being back there. So this is
But we're
meant to.
telling them we can only have 4 spaces.
No, he says any other means you can have more.
And I think if that's what you want to resolve, if the first sentence in section 2 is stricken, then everything else, you're not limiting a number, but you're saying only 2 can be in front of the structure. Anything else has to be inside of the rear, again, if that's council's.
Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah. I think Amy's right. I think it's limiting to 4, regardless of whether they go in the back or not. So, no, I think we need to remove that.
Yeah, that first sentence
Yeah.
in that section, if it's removed, everything else fits.
Yeah.
Works.
I have a question though, so can you see this from Ridgeway?
Well, you can't today, but because of the,
Once it's built?
I would think you'll see a little bit of it.
Okay.
It's kind of grown up and bushy there right now.
If you, there's bushes up front, if you cut the bushes down, you still got trees, and back where the old house is, there's kind of a clearing. So it's probably gonna go right kind of where the old house is. In the summertime, you can barely see that house when the leaves aren't on the trees. So I mean, you're gonna see a little bit, but not a lot.
this is kind of written as if we're thinking it's a commercial, an apartment building. Limit the number of places and all, and back to this residential.
If we strike that, we should probably ask Jennifer why she put it there, just so that we understand.
And what I was trying to figure out is once this is built and you have your designated parking places, you brought up a great point. So when there are more people than that structure allows, where do they park? Are they gonna be lined up on Ridgeway Avenue? Are they gonna be on the grass? I mean, that's what I was asking if you can see it.
What's the offset from the house to the
Good
road?
question.
What's the what?
The offset,
65 to 70 feet.
Okay.
Yeah. It'd be the same the way it is at 505 Georgia where I live, where we have
That's what I'm getting at.
a skinny driveway but you can't park on the side of Ridgeway, you get a ticket.
Here's kind of a site diagram which shows it's 65 feet.
Okay, I mean, it seems like there's adequate area there if you had to have a party or something, extra people.
As long as you don't limit the number of spaces they have.
Yeah. Kim, yeah, I mean, anything else?
I
I think that's just.
beating a dead horse, but I go back to you can designate parking spaces by a piece of asphalt or by a chalk line or whatever without a barrier to keep cars confined to that parking space. If you have more cars than you have space, someone's gonna find it.
Right.
Front yards.
A front yard, so
You just take.
what do you
it-
regulate?
Yeah.
You can't regulate that. I don't think. We have people that live in houses that park in the yard, and there's nothing we can do about it. I don't like it, but that's the way it is. I think we take, what do you think? Want to take it out?
Just take it.
Everybody okay with that? Do we need a motion, Carol, do you think, for that?
I think when you get ready to make the motion for the ordinance, we'll put that in the motion.
Okay, fair enough. How about anything else?
I think that's it.
Okay. Well, that was good discussion.
Thank you.
Okay. Are we ready? for a
Make a
motion?
motion.
Okay.
Read the caption.
Thank you. Ordinance. An ordinance to rezone parcel 108A D034 from low density residential district to medium density residential district. And so Bob, you're making a motion. Do you want to add
We'll
the
add
language that defines
omit the first sentence in section 2, number 2.
Okay. All right. Second?
A second?
And a second. Any further discussion there? No unintended consequences? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay.
I'm good.
Okay. you're all set.
Wait, you did not vote? Are you abstaining?
No, I'll go for it.
Okay, thank you.
Didn't say.
I'm sorry, I didn't figure it.
So, second reading be on the 13th?
Yes. We're under the wire, we can't in the paper. So it will be advertised, and we'll post the property for public hearing, and it will be in the paper. And we'll have second reading, public hearing, and second reading at the regular meeting.
I do want to clarify though with council, I think I asked you this, boy, we can't, just like we couldn't vote on the last more controversial zoning issue on what's going in there, right? So we can't vote opposed for something if we didn't want a duplex. It just has to be whether or not the property is
So,
appropriately zoned for what they're putting in. Is that correct?
Well,
I think I understand your question,
Yeah.
and I think the answer is yes. I think
when we,
we're not doing a change in zoning request.
where we are, we're going from LDR to MDR.
Well, yeah.
Which allows a duplex, which LDR doesn't, is that right?
Correct.
Correct. And
Are we allowed to vote based on that?
Like you don't want MDR.
Oh, I don't want a duplex. I think it's gonna bring our property values down. But I don't think I can vote based on that. That's what I'm trying to clarify.
the duplexes are, of course, right next to that. So you would prefer,
When you say you can't vote, I don't understand.
I'm trying to clarify, because the last issue, we couldn't really legally vote based on whether or not they were putting in a food city or a dry cleaner or whatever.
right.
Because you have to vote based on what's the intended use for that land, right? Am I correct?
You
Yeah,
voted
and I think
rezoning.
it's a little more complicated in that process, because we really got into a lot of concern about addressing a request and denying it for one entity in favor of protecting
Another.
the interest of another.
But that was not the sole issue.
No, but that was a big one, and that's, and to some degree, you know, whether you like Food City or you like Publix, it's, in this, I don't think it says clear cut, but it's simply the use. And the fact that it's a duplex versus a single family, I don't think they're the same issue.
Well, there was also the issue, and we touched on it, of compatibilities of progression. And the request that was being made in the Food City request was going from low density residential to high commercial.
Yeah.
That's a big jump, and there was contiguous property that was lower than that, and so that was as much the issue really in terms of, I think, what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think that's what I was trying to recall our conversation, that was what I was thinking about more than anything, that this is a more appropriate zoning change.
Right, because there's already some
Right,
next to
right,
it, but
Right.
I guess my question is, as a council person, can I vote, if I would prefer to have trees there instead of another duplex, can I vote based on that, or is it,
Well, so,
do you see what I'm saying?
I do.
I mean, I don't want a whole bunch of apartments going up all
Right.
over town either.
but you can't vote, but what we don't have the legal authority to do is, let's say we turned them down, which we haven't. Let's say we turned them down, the person who owns it could still come in, they're their trees, and cut all the trees down anyway. And see if it could be highway commercial to put a gas station in. So this,
Or they could build a single-family structure that's the same size.
yeah, do all the same stuff, yeah. So what this does, and
But they
looking,
can't use it for that.
They can't use it for multi-family, no.
Right.
but they could build the exact same structure and use it, you know, it would look just like a duplex. And this fits with the land use plan and with the stepped concept. And also it's better for the neighbors because it's not going to commercial.
No,
And there could be,
I
yeah,
understand all of that, and I understand I was just trying to understand
Whether you-
from a legal perspective where,
But on the flip side, we could have put it on the food city as a council. I mean, that was perfectly within our right to do so. We chose to disapprove, but it could have gone the other way. I mean, you have you could have done either way.
oh, no, I know. I was saying, but you can't vote, what I was told, and you clarified, Lloyd, was voting in favor of one thing to protect another. So you can't vote based on what they're putting in there, you can vote based on what
As
it's.
long as it's done.
Okay, good enough, sorry.
All right, good discussion about this. Confusing. All right, the next item is a request. Actually, it's a reading of an ordinance abandoning a portion of right-of-way known as Ohio Avenue in Signal Mountain, Tennessee. And this is one of those interesting ones where rights of way requests are always fun to talk about. Anyway, you want
You guys have the plat done yet? No, we were waiting on a plat to be found on this. This is a, section of right-of-way. It's unimproved, there's not a road there, it's like several of the others. And there are several properties that adjoin this that are all owned, except for one, by Mr. Fisher. So this is a matter of abandoning the right-of-way so that these properties can be combined, but then also divided a little differently than they are now, so that there will ultimately be two lots, and it will basically limit the ability for parts of that property to be subdivided differently, and a home back in the back near the golf course. So it'll actually serve to limit the possibility for some building. One of the things we always look at on these is connectivity potential. If there's any way that right-of-way could be used to access another right-of-way, could there be a trail, a bike path, anything like that to go in there, and this situation really doesn't lend itself to that. You know, while minimal, there's always the consideration in these situations where, when it's all said and done, these properties will be larger and thus theoretically more valuable. It tends to build a structure on one of the lots, so it actually will create the opportunity for additional tax revenue for the town. So all in all, it looks like there's no downside.
Existing right away? I mean,
Yes, it comes in here, and this property is a lot right now. So that will be absorbed into these other lots once this right-of-way that separates them is abandoned. So you basically have three lots, parcels that will be combined into two.
This might make it a
Oh,
little
yeah.
clearer. It's the old original, and basically all it does is says, I want to put a line there.
Okay. Can I get you to give your name and address for the record?
Doug Fisher, 613 George Avenue.
Thank you, sir.
Were you at this one, Dick? Yeah, I've seen it. Were you at that meeting, the plan commission meeting? This was not controversial in any way. This is actually just cleans it up and means one less house will be built and one good neighbor will stay there. So, yeah.
And frankly, I do tend to shy away from these if there's any potential for usage or need, and we've looked at it, and it just really seems to make sense.
All right.
And if I could get those documents, and I'll make sure the copies are distributed to everybody.
And prior to second reading, we'll have all the associated documents with the ordinance.
And that'll be on the 13th?
Correct.
Okay. Second reading will be on the 13th. All right, I've got a motion for approval from
Do
Bob.
we have,
Have a
do,
second.
okay.
Sorry.
Any further discussion?
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
So I was told that I had to have two different votes. One was to abandon the right-of-way, which then would allow me to subdivide the property, and that's a separate one. So does that have to be?
Planning Commission had two separate votes. One was to recommend abandonment of the right-of-way. And the second was to approve the plat, which pending the corrections that Jennifer had sent you. So that, once that's done, then that opens the door for this.
One has to happen before the other one can.
The wording in this ordinance is that it becomes effective 30 days from second reading. In that 30-day period, that plat has to be recorded and everything. And if that doesn't
Not
happen,
voted on again. Okay,
So
I just want to make sure I'm
and you're
missing
good. We've covered those, and even after the second vote, you have a 30-day period to get the plat filed and the easement, because the main issue is the easement. There is a little section of this that has water line in it,
Right.
and we're getting an easement for that,
Right.
so we don't have any issue there. Until that plat's filed, that easement doesn't exist. So in that 30-day period after second reading, you get the plat filed, the easement's in place, and then it goes into effect. If that doesn't happen, it doesn't go into effect.
Gotcha.
So that's on Doug.
That's on that.
Yeah.
No problem.
Okay. Good. You have a motion first and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay,
Thank you.
good job.
Thank you, sir.
That's the end of ordinances and resolutions. We'll proceed with board liaison reports if there are some. I would like an update. I see Barbara's here. You want to kind of give us an update on where we are at MACC?
Sure.
Can
You
you
mean
do-
the
you mind?
construction?
Yeah, well, kind of, has construction started?
It hasn't. It should start Monday or Tuesday.
Okay.
We've had some delays and but we've been meeting. The sprinkler system, Simplex Grinnell, will be delivering materials to stage those on Wednesday and Thursday next week. And they should get started as soon as they can after that. The auditorium repair and the water drainage, they'll have equipment coming up on Monday morning.
Okay.
That's great. Now, that's the whole building now, as far as Grinnell, or just those areas? that
No,
we-
just the front, what's been approved.
All right, anything else, since we're talking about MACC? Yeah.
We're getting ready for fall classes. Those will be
Okay.
going on in the back of the building during construction. The SME Preservation Fund has another coffee house concert coming up. It's on the MACC website. I don't remember the date. It's August. And do you know?
Yeah, I think it's the 14th or 17th.
The 14th?
Nope.
It's a Sunday in August. The group is Spinster.
I have it on the 19th, Sunday the 19th.
Sunday the
There it is,
19th.
yeah.
Okay.
Where do you hold those at?
In the cafeteria.
Okay.
Mhm. Cafeteria transforms into a beautiful coffee house feel and look, and it's just wonderful. More work continues to be done in rooms 9 and 10, so that when we get hardcore construction happening and our fall classes start, we'll be able to use those 2 additional rooms. We have air conditioners, the floor is being refinished enough so that we can use it, and they're all scraped and painted, almost finished with all of that, so we were able to reclaim those 2 rooms, and that'll help us a lot with room.
You'll have to remind me, I thought we had approved some extra money to do some extra sprinkling, but we didn't, or what?
That's in the budget that hasn't, will be approved.
Okay.
Yes,
And there's also the issue of timing for that, because that will have to go to the fire marshal. And we need to wait to time that so that it doesn't complicate the current project. So we're gonna try to coordinate it so that as we wrap up this part of it, we can come immediately behind it and do the additional sprinklers.
Okay.
And there was the issue of donations also.
Okay.
Right.
Hey, Barb, just real quick. Am I hearing that, like you said, no construction has started, so there's still a giant hole in the stage and that nothing's...
In the back of the auditorium, yes.
I just don't understand why that is taking so long. We approved that like 9
Yeah,
months ago.
It was all contract stuff, right? It's taking just that time.
It's going as fast as we can get it to go.
You remember the James Boulevard project?
I do, but
We
mean,
just awarded that contract last month.
I just can't imagine how frustrating it is to try to,
Yes.
that's a
We're
problem.
not arguing.
Yeah, no, it's not.
There's no
I know.
But the delay is not in this room, I promise you. Okay,
Just clarify.
okay, that's, Mac, thank you.
Can I want to add
You wanna add anything?
just one thing to that. The work that she mentions in 9 and 10, it's all volunteers, and we've got new volunteers who are showing up, and they're easily getting in 100 to 200 hours a week of work that's going on there by people showing up and working, and new people are getting involved. We've got some, like a college student who's like working really hard. Oh, and they're also going for, they may not get it, but they're trying to get a grant for new lighting for the stage area. And so they've written, just, anyway, there's a lot of stuff happening there.
Well, I'm glad you've been able to rally that around, Dan.
It's not me. But thanks.
Okay, Tom, you got anything?
Just my proverbial question about James Boulevard.
I'll take the answer for
We have an
that.
answer.
Okay, good.
You want it now?
Yes.
That has gone out to bid.
Wow.
We've sent the advertisement to TDOT so that it can be placed on their site, and then that effectively means it's out.
We received our notice to proceed for construction, so that federal funds have been operated. And then we have to advertise on TDOT's website for 24 days before we can open bids. So after we open the bids, we have to send it back to TDOT to approve our recommendation, and then we can bring it to council for approval of the contract.
And roughly what kind of time frame is that, roughly?
On this project,
2 years from now.
I mean, if everything would go smoothly, I would hope we could have the contract ready for the September council meeting.
And what would be an estimate on, if it, obviously I'm worried about the centennial and having it all. So what would be your estimate of the timeline that they could jump on it after they get all their bids approved?
Of course, you have to, it depends on the weather, but after the bid is approved, then it goes back But the project is about 120 days. Construction. So I know we need it, by, before the beginning of April.
Say again now.
I know we need to have that
Yeah.
done before the beginning of April. So the end of March is when we have to finish it.
Yeah.
Right.
Wow. That's close.
But, I mean, that's right.
Yeah.
We
But
have
she's
to-
just saying that's your time, our timeline, we need it done by then.
Right.
And
Right.
the,
That's what
the
I'm.
projected timeline for the project fits within that, it would be done by then.
Yeah.
And again, it's the end of March as opposed to.
No, I'm just saying, that's our deadline.
Right, but I'm just saying, 120 days, so if we voted it in September, 120 days from there,
Mhm.
it would be a completed project, so
That's our
maybe
estimation.
by December.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if the weather holds and those
Yeah.
kinds of things. But they estimate 120 days for construction. I
Gotcha.
was just saying that it has to be done by the end of March, that's the drop dead.
Thanks, ma'am. That is good news.
Got anything else?
We have a meeting with Centennial next week. We were talking about, I think they would ask some funding about the parade that we were gonna discuss next Wednesday, so I don't have an answer for you yet. So we have a meeting Wednesday on those costs associated with that.
Okay. I think you should thank Dan, because we have online, you can explain this better than I can.
Oh, this stuff?
Yeah, something that you've been asking for a long time, I think.
Oh, good, I'd like to hear it.
Is-
Yeah, we're live streaming right
Oh,
now.
well, that is good. That's not the laptop up there.
No, and that's gonna get a permanent, this is our second test. We live streamed the planning commission a couple of days
Well,
ago.
I want to shake your hand, Pat.
You're welcome.
I thought you might appreciate that.
Anyone,
Yes.
so I'm not advertising this yet to let people know, because we're still testing. But if anybody wants to check this out, if you do a Google search for, if you go to YouTube and search for Signal, 4 words, Signal Watch Live Stream, you'll find it. But we'll push it when we're ready. We have one more step to do, and it has to do with wiring these microphones that we're all wearing directly into the system. But we got I rebuilt the rack this week, and someone donated another board, so there's another piece of gear we didn't have to buy. So we got these things donated. The town purchased that at $4.99, right? So I think we've got to buy batteries, but we've probably got another $100 or $200 expense, and it'll be done.
Well, I'm glad you had the expertise to figure that out, so thank you.
No, that's great.
Thanks.
Just one. I don't have anything else, you got anything?
I don't. The rec board has not met in a very long time, and I think we need to have a meeting.
All right, Boyd?
We touched on most of the things I planned to talk about, James Boulevard, MACC project. We'll update you that yesterday, spent most of the day with folks from TAS on water feasibility. Good day. They spent a lot of time, but it was very initial. And hopefully in the next week or two, probably not next week, but hopefully shortly thereafter, I'll get something that gives us somewhat of a timeline and what to expect when. As soon as I get that, I'll get that out to council. That's the main things in the last couple of weeks.
All right, so let's take a look at the tentative agenda for the meeting on the 13th.
Can I toss one other thing in? Just because we have press here, and to get it out as many places as we can. We heard from Jennifer Flynn. She wrote again to say yesterday was rough. She's the PR person basically for TDOT. It was rough, but they expected it to be rough, and they expect it to get better every day on the road. They're retiming lights, and they had a whole bunch of equipment coming in yesterday, and they just made it bad.
It was much, much better this morning coming in versus going
Okay.
out last night. It was a huge difference.
Yeah.
I want to thank Mayor Howley for doing a lot of negotiations with TDOT, bringing them last September, whenever they did the presentation about, and then all the state and local legislators that have bumped that project up to get that thing done. Now, can you fill me in what this is going to accomplish, this particular project you're doing?
This is it is part of the big project, but it was determined that this section was in immediate need of repairs. What they're gonna do is, they're actually gonna be working from the road. They'll go in and put, I don't know why they use this term, because it immediately makes you think of hammering, but they put soil nails in, which are actually drilled in. And then as they go in, grout is also pumped in there as kind of a cement. So these things are going in below the road at an angle. And they're tied together, and then they take basically shotcrete and blow a concrete wall in there. And then that is backfilled, and then the road is rebuilt.
Is that on both sides of the road?
No, it's just on the lower side. So this is a permanent long-term fix to this section. It's about
200 feet.
200, and, I can't remember if it's 235 or 265, about 260 feet section of the road. So it is a permanent fix. It's not just a Band-Aid, but it's just one piece of the bigger project. The rest of it will follow in a more structured manner. This one was identified the issue and had jumped.
Will that extend the boundaries when it gets into the second phase of this thing, somewhat of a road for a shoulder? Is that what the second phase is?
I don't know that there's any intent to widen it to the point that it creates an additional shoulder. It's just simply creating an area so that the supporting structure will be more stable and permanent.
Thank you.
They permitted 75 years, is what I think that's.
Yeah.
They put it.
What's it, 75? I remember this was the long-term deal, yeah.
So it's really interesting. Okay. Council vacancy action. We have some applications, I guess.
Currently, we have 4.
Okay.
Next Friday at 4:30 is the cutoff. My intent is we'll have all those scanned and ready to go, and at 4:31, we'll shoot those out to you guys, and you'll have them for that period prior to the meeting to review, and at your discretion, contact applicants and so forth.
You've got room for 8 resolutions, but we don't have that many. 4 resolutions. 4 resolutions.
Right now, the only thing we have on the radar, we may be revisiting the waste hauling contract extension, but
What was the issue on
the contract calls for an automatic extension. And they requested that we sign something saying that we agree with the extension. So that's what we laid out, but as I understand it, their desire is an extension that is different from what is stipulated in the contract. So we're not going to do that until we get the opportunity to further discuss that and clarify. What they sent us was nowhere near clear on that point. And luckily, Loretta had another conversation with them where it was made clear, and we said, no, almost. So we're going to straighten that out and see where we are before we get into it. A fair assessment.
So we'll look at the budget ordinance, we'll look at the second reading, both second readings. And anything else?
That is it for now. We will have 2 public hearings. Again, the public hearing on the rezoning, we've hit the deadline, so we'll have that advertised, and the budget, so we'll get that advertised as well.
Any further business? Let's call a meeting.
So the end?
Dan, did you sanitize?
No. We probably should. So to end, you just push the red button, slide, oops.